Hello, and welcome to this evening's Coppice dev stream, where we are not actually going to be working on Coppice again, because it is a Wednesday stream, and therefore we're going to be working on a new app that I'm working on called, well, at the moment it's called Streamline. That name will probably change at some point in the future, but it's a new app where it's going to help me manage music that's playing on the stream. Just a little app that I'm using to learn a few new things and developing it all the way from scratch on stream, hopefully all the way to publishing it on the Mac App Store. So we're going to see how things go. But last week we basically started with an idea, developed out a few features, and then proceeded to do a quick bit of design and get the first features in. So if we switch over to our main view and take a look, this is what we managed to get implemented. Our main window, we've got our sidebar with support for collapsing, toolbar up here. You have your various bits and pieces, your various playlists here that are just created on launch at the moment, and you can add new ones and delete, which is a fair point. We have deleting done. What should be renaming playlists in our tasks list at the bottom. So what we're going to do today is a bit more work. We're going to work on getting renaming playlists working. We're going to get reordering playlists working, and once that's done, we're going to see if we can get some of our music stuff implemented so that we can actually add music to a playlist and start actually playing that music. I've also been having some thoughts about how I want this to be structured in a way, and I think in terms of a playlist is something that you'll be able to just throw music in, but then you'll be able to actually basically set sections during the playback. So a playlist is just going to be like a pool of songs that are not in any particular order, but then you'll be able to set sections. And these sections will have various rules on them you can apply. So you'll be able to bring music in from Apple Music and actually tag them with various tags. For example, one key thing is I don't want songs with vocals playing when I'm doing this introduction bit. So you'll be able to tag some songs with vocals and then have a section that is just did not play anything with vocals. And the reason I've come up with this idea of like these sections is that some of them you'll be able to have constant, like I want this section to play so far, like between this time and this time from the start of playing. So for me it will be from about 10 minutes onwards, and that will limit what songs can play in that period. But I've also realized there may be points where you actually want to have certain sections set up that you don't know what particular time you want them to play, but it's something that you're going to want to have happen at some point. So maybe you get into a bit where you're going to be speaking a lot more about something. So what you want to do is you just want to switch to a section where it drops certain songs out. Maybe you have something happening and you want to be able to switch to more upbeat music and more laid back music. And you have sections set up for those. And you'll be able to just switch between them, and then it will be able to either just immediately switch song, or you could have it after the next song, it will play that, and it can play that for a certain length of time, or it can play it until you switch it back, and so on. So in a weird way, it's almost like the focus modes that Apple have added to macOS and iOS and so on, but for the playlist. So you'll be able to dynamically like change these, fix when they play, change them on the fly, and so on. And I think it will be quite useful to have that ability. So what we're probably going to end up with on this side when we get around to it is you'll be able to just add the songs, which will just be a pool of songs, but then you'll be able to add the sections as well and configure the sections. And then there'll be a playback mode where it's just like, okay, I'm playing back, and it will give you the current song and all the next songs based on like your current set of sections and so on. So that should be quite a fun, interesting thing to play around with, and it should be incredibly useful. And certainly makes it a lot more useful of a product. I also had some ideas for things like being able to crossfade between songs rather than just having a quick skip, and have it be able to have ducking, so you can have it where it just ducks the music when you maybe want it to play. So rather than having to mess around in OBS, you can just have a button in here and it will just duck the music temporarily for you. So I can see lots of really good uses for this, and lots of cool features. So it's a great idea, great sense that this is a product that I can build and can continue building long into the future, because I'm keep coming up with new features that I can add all the time. So it should be quite an interesting project to play with. So as we get started, for anyone in chat, please just say hi in chat. Let me know how you're doing this evening, what you're up to, if you're coding along, just wanting to chat, or how your day has been, if it is coming to a close. Hi Steve, welcome to the stream. Deep into trying to configure OpenCore on ESXi. If anyone hasn't seen Steve's tweets, he's building quite the interesting VM machine running various virtual machines. You should definitely give Steve a follow on Twitter, because he definitely has some very interesting projects that he works on, as well as some fantastic apps that he works on, such as Broadcasts and Pastel. And he's currently working on a crossword app at the moment, which is quite a fun thing, and integrating it with things such as like the stylus, the Apple Pencil on iOS and so on. So definitely give him a follow on Twitter, because he gets up to all sorts of exciting things. So let's get into renaming these playlists. Now I think what we also want to do is potentially add an icon while we're at it. So in our view here, yeah, I am probably going to have to bring something over from Coppice. Title. Is Xcode not finding what I want it to find? Have a look. I've got the sidebar. Editable label cell. Okay. Where is that? That is way down. Yeah. So I'm going to bring this across, but I'm going to add a to-do, because I think for any code that I bring across from Coppice, what I need to do is note it in Streamline, so that I know in future what to put into a shared library. Back in my first pass at being an indie developer, I actually had several frameworks that I think are still up on GitHub. M3 Foundation, M3 AppKit, and M3 Core Data, I believe, which were all my extensions that were shared between various apps. Now I've got a lot of very useful extensions now. I've got a file drop view. I mean, if I show some of them, an editing label view. Something for doing an immediate segmented control, which is which one? I believe this is for the toolbar for creating a new label. A simple label popover if you just want to show a popover with a label, if you want to show one with an error. All sorts of things. The translucent segmented control, which we built for Coppice's new image linking feature, though that isn't quite as generic at the moment, but you also get like a generic alert type here that I believe, I can't remember why I built that, but I believe in Coppice Core I also have a bunch of stuff that potentially could be pulled out of Coppice Core and into something else. Yeah, all of these extensions to array and NS image and so on. So these could all be extracted out into their own framework that are just extensions to what we have, are just generic views in terms of Apple frameworks. So for now, what I'm going to do is get this editable label cell. And I'm going to, in fact, rather than doing the to-do, let's do a new group copied from Coppice. That's just occurred to me that now we just have plain generic folder icons here. It would be very nice to be able to tag stuff like you can do in Finder with a color. Alright, so let's drag this over into copied from Coppice. Copy items if needed, and that should, yep, that is copied into Streamline. Okay, so going to be an editable label cell. What editable label cell lets us do is you can tell it to start editing or end editing. That I believe it doesn't do it automatically. I believe I have to go into process view. If I bring up the table, the double action is edit item title. Alright, edit item title. So what I need to do on here is I've just realised that's probably done the action, not the double action. Yes. It would be nice if more classes in AppKit had a double action. Because what it is it's a separate action that's called when a double click happens. And there are many cases where it would be really useful to be able to distinguish between those things. Right. So what we're going to do here is get the clipped row, which is self.table. Clipped row. Guard the clipped row is not equal to -1. And self.table view. At column row, make it necessary false. Actually, might as well stick that in the same guard statement. Right. So what should let's just do if we go to editable label cell. Now I think where I do this for the source list table is bindings. I do. So did I implement this through bindings? Let's have a. I did not, did I? Because that not another subject. So let's make it another subject. Make that MC dynamic. We can actually get rid of that. Oh, object. Okay. And then we'll bind our text field to value object value name. So in theory this should now just work. Oh yeah, to this object, I think it's got to be is equal. Okay, let's not do that. Let's this. over here. What we want to have happen just want to do and have it public. End editing sender. Self.playlist .name self.text field .string value. Oh. No. Actually, no. Self.text field else turn. And I'll get rid of that. Right. So now that should work. So we go here, we double click, we can start editing. We need to tweak some constraints. But if we change that to 5, enter, it's changed it. Sweet. Right, so what we want to do is add rather than doing that, table, image and text table cell. Right, so for that, go to SF symbols. There we go. So we want music note list. Make this a plus tables cell. So try that again. Oh, we haven't identifier playlist cell. Identify again. Now this should work. That's right. Bye. Table view sizing. Don't want to match the canvas, we want it size to default. Alright, I just got to system preference. And I got into general. About icon size, medium, large. There we go. Back to small. Voila! We have renaming working, so let's commit that. I can find where tower has gone. Oh, don't want to open up another version of Xcode. Playlist naming. Right, so now that is implemented, let us move on to reordering. Reordering is always a lot of fun because that means you get to play with drag and drop, and drag and drop always works first time. This time it is going to work first time because I'm going to cheat and have a look at my data source. Right. Pasteboard right for row. Validate drop and accept drop. Right. So what I want to do here, follow control.shared dot playlist row ID. I believe NSUID. Yeah, I believe NSUID supports NS pasteboard, right? Right. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. I could probably do it is bringing over all of my model infrastructure from Coppice. I bring all my model infrastructure stuff over from Coppice. No, for now we'll just do this very basically, just to get it working. Do UUID string. We'll get this working, get it implemented with get music working, because that's something a bit more interesting to do. And then what I'll probably do off stream is package up Coppice's model infrastructure and bring that over, because for Coppice, what I have, it is all somewhat document focused, but where are we? Coppice core. I have all this stuff for you create your collections, and it handles relationships, it handles undo redo, it handles any sort of specific settings, so that bit we probably won't need, but it has this model ID where you can say the type and the UUID, and it's solely pasteboard writable. You can convert it for plists and so on. So I think this will actually be really useful to bring. However, I probably won't do the write and read because they are specific. But the thing is, that means that all of this is abstracted away. It makes sure everything is a plist type, but it ensures that it's abstracted away from the actual data model. So I could use this with like JSON or a SQL database or whatever. Probably not a SQL database because it's a bit more involved there. But it'll be good to reuse a lot of this because it is designed to be abstracted. But for now, we're just going to deal with a UUID string. So what I need to do is find my sidebar in Coppice and find validate drop closed row. I think for this one, all we really want to do is guard let types equals info dot tagging baseboard dot types. Types contains types contains string. Else return nothing, otherwise return generic. And then what we're going to do here is we need to do the same thing. Always best to double check. So here we return false. Oh, actually, drop operation equals above. What I will just do here, move then what we're going to do, actually this needs to be a bit more expanded because we're going to get the types, make sure the types contains a string, then we want to get our UUID, UUID UID string. Oh no, we need to get the pasteboard item. We're gonna get a pasteboard item. What we're going to do is item in pasteboard item. We can do pasteboard item dot compact map UID string dot type string. Then $map, what we want to have over here and what we're going to do is playlist dot first other ID. Right, and then here we can do model controller shared dot playlist no shared dot playlist ID 0. Drag. So that also needs to be a compact map. Then what we can do is model controller.shared.move playlist to drag above playlist to index row. Turn that, because we want this to probably return a bool. So what we're going to do is in here, we're going to actually there's one more thing we need to do, which is up here. We need to register our table view for drag types. For drag types, one key advantage when we actually use the model ID is that it has its own drag type. So on this, you can drag any sort of string on here at the moment. You could, in theory, drag any UUID string on, and it would get at least to this bit. It would just fail at this bit, unless, of course, you drag the UUID of an actual playlist, in which case it will work. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get the we're going to get our first playlist, which is going to be playlist save. Oh, we don't have these save things. Let's just drag that over it then. That is far too useful an extension not to have. Yeah. Because it allows me to do a just pass in any old index, and if it exists, great, it returns it. If not, it returns nil. And this is something that I always had on NSArray as well, because, completely frank, this is incredibly useful to have. So we're going to return false if that playlist doesn't exist. Then what we're going to do is, actually we also want to make sure that playlist does not contain the playlist we're going to be moving above. Right. Playlist equals setup playlist, playlist contains playlist equals false. So at this point, what we want to do is self.playlist. I don't remember. Right. So what we're going to do is for new playlist. Self.playlist. So for playlist and playlist to move, we need to remove it from, so I'd let index best index of how am I doing this? It's easier. Item. Oh. Oh. Hey. That's how I'm doing it. I do it like that. Then I do new playlist index Now, I may not even need that. Because what I can then do, new playlist, insert contents of playlist to move at index and self.playlist equals new playlist dot compact map 0. So what we're doing is we get the stuff that we want, we swap the old versions out with nil, means so the new versions at the index we want, which because these are nil, those indexes are still valid, so we don't need to do any maths on that, and then we just get rid of the nil values and it compresses it all back down. So let's see if this works first try. Not when it doesn't compile. Okay, so this is going to be self-dot. Oh, playlist. So that one, good. And we don't actually need the return value on this or because it cannot fail. Go there and return true. Okay, so we need to compact map string, then compact map that. We'll compact map for that, then for that, and then for that. Up here, what pasteboard items was optional? It is. Why are you complaining? Quadrat expression is on. Oh, that why. What a string? Yeah, it conforms down as pasteboard writing. String. Is that going to make it happy? Okay, it is. And that needs to be $0. Well, succeeded. So rebuild and run. I drag that down to there. Drag that to there. And I drag... Oh, we don't have multiple selection. All that stuff I did doesn't particularly matter. Let's just see if multiple selection works. Selection. Multiple. If I select that and that, drag them both up to 4, I should be able to select them all. Yeah. That works perfectly. Move all those, move them there, out. 3, 2 above 4, move to there. Add some more and select these and move them to the bottom. Drag and drop working. Okay. That is fantastic. Now we'll probably have to tweak all that when I move over to the model system, but it should all work and it should give us full undo redo once it is in. So, okay, we've renamed playlists, we've reordered playlists. And we're roughly about halfway through the stream. So what I am going to do is commit this. And then I'm going to go grab a fresh drink. And when I get back, we will start looking into adding music and seeing how we can use the music kit APIs, because I have never actually used those before. So this will be something fun to play around with and learn together. So I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, I am back and I have a fresh drink and I am ready to start looking into Music Kit. So Music Kit is Apple's API for allowing you to actually pull out music media on various devices. So it lets you access your local library, your Apple Music library, so you can pull all this stuff in. I didn't realize it also has web and Android versions, but that's interesting. But we care about the actual Music Kit here. So now, hopefully, oh, thank you for the reminder, Steve. So hopefully this should just work without needing to do any sort of provisioning profiles or anything at this stage. Music Kit. Let's download this and take a look at what. Oh, so Music Kit doesn't actually do anything. macOS. See, it says that I believe it says it's available. Ah! macOS 12 Plus. So that could be it. It could be that they've only just added it in the latest version. I mean, let's have a look. Application Music Player. Well, it says it's in Mac Catalyst 15, but not here. Okay. I guess we're not using Music Kit then. So there is a legacy way, I believe. Welp. Ah. Here we go. iTunes library. I mean, this should be good enough for our purposes because, if we're completely honest, almost anything that you find on Apple Music is going to be DMCA'd. So you're probably not going to want to play that on stream. So yeah, it only works with offline content, Steve, but as I say, the online content is going to be something where that is stuff that you probably don't want to play on stream anyway. So it does limit things, because I mean, it may be something that you do have the rights to. I mean, like this song playing now is technically on... Yeah, having a Yonto Music silo could work. Yeah, that could probably work. I mean, the hope would be that, for example, when you create a playlist, you could have a playlist that is in the app, or you could link it to a playlist in the music app. So as you get stuff and you add it to the music app to listen yourself, it will also be added into like the playlist in Streamline. So I mean, that could be a case of having two different types of playlist. So the first version could be that the first version is just a base version, like you just drag your stuff in, but after that you can link it to an iTunes playlist. Yeah, Apple supporting APIs on macOS is definitely patchy, and I think the big thing is that a lot of the time it's like they don't even make those APIs work in Catalyst. So it's not like it's a, oh, we're not supporting this in AppKit. It's like we're just not supporting this properly on the Mac at all. So it's one of those things of, oh, we got this. I mean, in theory, if I did want Apple Music support, so this is what I was showing is you have Music Kit, and there's an API for Android. There's an API for the web. There's a full API here. The API can be used with apps, but with Swift, Android apps, and websites. So this is all stuff that if I wanted to use Apple Music, I could do. Of course, the thing is, I do not have Spotify. I do not have Apple Music because I'm not like a streaming music person. And so it's something that I have all this stuff locally anyway. So, I mean, it may be something that it could be something to look into in future. But I think for now, I'm not really going to bother with Spotify or Apple Music for the initial version of this. I'm more likely to have it just drag files in. Because as I say, a lot of the stuff that you want is generally coming from smaller artists anyway. And like for example, this song being played now is from Bandcamp, where you're just downloading the files. So in a lot of cases, you're going to have an MP3. And this whole thing is designed for oh, you have the music, I want some way to structure it, because there are other tools out there for getting various licensed music and stuff like that. This is more for you already have the audio locally. And it gives you more control, and the whole point of this app is to give you more control. If you want to play something for Apple Music, you can already do that with the setup I have now. You won't get like the smarter features such as the playlist sections and so on, but it gives you some additional like, but you can do like the basic thing of playing stuff, shuffling through and so on. So yeah, we will give up on that, and what we'll do is we will create things locally. So what I am going to do is I'm going to create a very basic song type, and I'm going to copy my playlist into a file, all the music files onto a folder on my desktop, and I'm going to have it point at that on the desktop and just create it just as a test. So because the actual adding the songs and stuff like that, that's something we can do. I mean, one thing we'll probably need to do is, if we're doing this, we will probably build and run. What we'll probably want is a library at the top, which means that I'm probably going to be best converting this over to an outline view rather than a table view, because then we can have a library section and then we can have a section here, and then potentially in future you could have your library, but then you could have different libraries. We could add an iTunes library, you could add a Spotify library, you could add an Apple Music library as additional things in future, and then you can have playlists built of stuff from various different sources. So we have a song, which is class song, which is going to be have a URL, in it with URL, and that's our song. A song is literally just going to be that. I create a folder on my desktop, and what I want to do is, let's just drag small selection, please. Okay, we have that stuff there. What we'll do is, we're not going to link these to a playlist at the moment. So we're going to have model controller. We're just going to sit down here, songs, song, blah. And actually, you know what? Folder. Good, give me access to that. Right, so let's have equals L dot can't remember how it is that you get its standard paths. Sure. It's File Manager. Directory. Domain dot first. Now, appending path component. Streamline. Else. Turn. Self dot. That. Oh. Let's shove this down here, because this is all going to end up being rewritten anyway. Right. File manager dot default dot contents of and oh ooh. URL resource value. I'll use for key. Really? No way to find. Hey. Oh, resource key. File protection for package. Like passive, volume status, volume support, pictures. Okay, so I probably need to use AVKit to pull out the details, but and now there, God let songs try with just quick and dirty way. Self.songs equals songs.map song L.0. Oh. Okay. So, in our details, let us throw in a table view. And in here, have title, duration, just add one or two more, because I want to see if we can get this loading the various attributes. So if we add more pieces, let's just do artist and album now. So title, duration, artist, album. What we're going to do. Don't want the clip view, we want the table view. Data source and delegate. So what we need to do is set some identifiers. Title, duration, artist, album. I'm going to do controller dot shared dot songs dot count. I'm going to return other controller shared dot that song go. If table column dot identifier row value equals title if right, so on the song I want to have title string bar duration turn song.title duration artist album. Right, so in here what we're going to do Right. We're going to create an asset, every asset, which is going to be after asset equals every asset. Really not going to auto port it. Fail. Interesting. So every asset neither returns nil nor throws. Okay. So you're always going to get an every asset. And what I want to do is print out data to self.asset.metadata. Let's see what that gives. Oh yeah, a float can't be a string. This is not JavaScript. Okay. Let's try this. Get there. Get there. And we fail. No, I don't want the containers of it. Fine. I'll do it the hacky way. Library / music / streamline. Why on earth you cannot access, even in a sandbox app, we should be able to access the full music folder? Oh yeah, that can't fail. Right. So, we have that. We're failing. Okay. Let's now want to start catching this because I want to know what is going wrong. I suspect it could be permission. Oh, because it's not in library. Alright, so now is it going to fail saying that I don't have permission? I have permission to view it. Alright. Yay! Okay. Right, so what sort of stuff do we have? Alright. What we're going to do, I'm going to print to HRL.lastPath component. Then what we're going to do, it's it. Data. So let's try for common metadata. Right. Get common metadata here. It's a metadata format. So Get the ID3 metadata as well. Even if getting stuff from a music library isn't particularly good, AV Foundation is pretty fantastic on every platform. Or at least every Apple platform. Maybe missing a few things for some like super pro and obscure stuff, but for all the stuff I've ever needed to do with it, it's a pretty fantastic and flexible framework. Alright. That keyed metadata equals metadata indexed by identifier. That gives us indexed by our identifier. Therefore, say f.title self.duration self.asset dot duration. That needs to be double. Right. Oh, that's a point. Value as string are empty. Value as string. Value as string. Build and run. Okay, now the reason that is not working, I'm going to use a little bit of bindings here. Just now, make these bind the object value. Okay, so we're getting the duration. Oh, I've got those the wrong way around. That will be why. iTunes first, ID3 second. Let's try that again. That, get rid of that. Hey! So, we're missing a few bits and pieces, but that is giving us our data there. Okay. So, for playing... Alright. That's convenient. So, let's create do stuff.player equals model controller shared.songs dot map dot asset dot map player item with the asset that and VQ player items. Do have a play pause. back. Have a skip. Playing previous track. Next track. Of.player. Item dot B player. Oh, it's playback. Rate. That's what I want. If self.player.rate is greater than 0, player dot pause, else self.player.play. Next item. Oh, you can't move to the previous. Okay. I'll leave that. So. Bar player. Alright, let's pause this. Oh. Yeah. Right. So that redirects to the audio capture. So hopefully, I have no idea how loud this will be. So. Okay, so play pause works. Hopefully you can hear that. So let's see if skipping to the next track works. That seems to work. We have playback. Okay. So, what I need to do is probably have a think off stream about how I want all of this to function. But we've got about 10 minutes or so left on the stream. Let's do some thinking on stream, because we've got, I mean, adding music is sort of done. Playing music is sort of done. We've got the basics in there. We've learned that we can't use Music Kit, and we probably don't want the iTunes integration and stuff after all. We can add that later as another feature, but for now we'll just have it be fairly simple. So, what we want to do is bring up our trusty iPad, and we want to have a think of what is the workflow for this? Because I know that we've got all these components. So you've got the components of a playlist. And we have the components of being able to add songs. And these are fairly basic. A playlist just contains a song. A playlist is also going to contain sections. These sections, or the songs, are going to have tags. And the sections are going to have various properties such as names, but the key things is they're going to have filters, times. So you'll be able to have sections that always play at a certain time, or that always go in at a certain time, and you have songs. So when you have your playlist, and it's just going to be a playlist of songs, and the key thing is that it's always going to shuffle, and it's always going to repeat. Potentially we can have it where you don't repeat and it just switches to another playlist or something at the end of it. But the idea of this is that it shuffles. It makes no sense if it does not shuffle. So you're going to have your list of songs, and we're going to work out, okay, there's nothing here, we're just going to stick your songs on, but then you've got a section that we will draw in here. And in there, we're going to get a song, and then we're going to realize, oh, we don't want anything with a certain tag in. So this song will be overlapping here. So this song, because it partially falls in, okay, that won't have a certain tag. Neither will this song, or that song. All of these fall into this section. Then we go back to normal. Then let's say the user wants to just have a section where it switches to like maybe upbeat music, maybe something really good is happening, so they want to change it. So at this point, they put a thing on that's just going to be until they disable it. At that point, what we need to do is we need to go and look through the rest of our playlist and see, okay, what songs do we have? Okay, we're going to, wrong thing. So we're going to have our songs in here. Now, if this song here was already playing, then obviously it's going to ease up. So that is the basic thing. You can create these sections and they can be set up for a particular time, so we know ahead of time, or they can change on the fly. In this case, we need to see, okay, what songs do we have that will fit in this? Okay, we have songs that, like maybe we run out of songs here, so we have to go back to the start of the playlist and work this out. Maybe we're not going to have, like maybe there are only two, we say, oh, we want songs with these tags, but there's only one song with this tag. Well, we're just going to keep repeating that and then get to the end. So the actual calculating of this is going to be complex. It's going to be easy for the user to understand, but it's going to be complex for us to do, which is generally the best way to have complexity. But the key thing is, what is the user's workflow going to be? So what I think we want to have happen is the first thing the user is going to do is they're going to come into the app and create a playlist. Then what they're going to do is go and they're going to drag in songs. Then they want to actually start. Now at this point they could just go over here. We stick play over here. They can potentially go straight to there. But what they're generally going to want to do is set up sections. So they set all that up, and then you go and play, and they're also potentially also going to want to display that. And at this point, they're going to want to have various controls, be able to switch sections and so on. So I think what we maybe want is to have two modes for our details view. So what we probably want to have is you go in and you have for your details view for a playlist, we have a playback mode, but there's going to be like a button up here to edit, and that is going to take us to another mode where you can change the songs. So this will be songs, and you can change sections. So you can customize it, and when you are done, it switches back, and then here we just have our playback controls and the list of songs that are actually playing. And maybe down here a list of sections that you can say switch, like if we do that as the section and these are the songs, so you can actually change this. The reason for doing this is that yes, you could just drag songs in here, but the thing is the actual list depends. I mean, the best way to show it is if you look at iTunes here. This here is the playlist that I have. These are the songs that are being played. But the problem is this here is the list of songs that are actually playing. So this is like the pool to select from. These are the ones that will actually be playing. So I think having a playback mode makes a lot of sense. So that this view here is designed to show how it plays back. So this bit here is actually going to be the easier bit because this is just going to be a table. And this is probably just going to be, we've got our sections. So this is probably going to be like a table of some sort as well. Over here, this is just going to be a list of sections that you can choose from. If we have it there, we may have it somewhere up here. But for this, is probably going to end up looking something a bit more like what we have here in music, where we have this sort of playing next. I mean, it is entirely possible that we can have it look a bit more like the music app, actually. So we could have it where our window is like this, and we've got a sidebar at our side, toolbar at the top, and we can have some player controls up here. And in the middle, we have the stuff where you've got your songs and sections. Maybe that is like a toggle at the top. Obviously not. Bring the iPad up. Obviously not as big as this. And this is your sort of playback control up here. And these are the songs down here, so you can these songs, you could even select your sections. But here is the playing list. So you got your songs here, but this is what is actually playing. We could even have it where you could collapse this, and so it becomes a bit more, if I draw it just a bit smaller, you got this here, and we can collapse it down. So you've got your playing, which is bigger, and then you have your sections in there. So I think that could actually work fairly well, where just visually on the screen you have the stuff in the middle where you control it, and then you have your playing thing. Because if we do it this way, this is where things can get really interesting. You've got multiple playlists. What if you could queue up playlists one after another? I don't fully know where I would use that, but it's something that you could do. So you could have these playlists coming up. And by having this here, you can do a manual rearrange, just like I can do here. It's done all this sorting, but you can override that just by dragging stuff around. So I think that could be a really good way to structure this. You have your sidebar, you have your edit stuff, and then you've got your playing column. And the playing is just the list of what is currently playing, but this is like your list of songs. So it looks similar to the music app in a sense, though hopefully a bit more exciting because we have the sections and various other things that make stuff quite fun and interesting. I mean, we could even do it where rather than having the playback controls up here, we have the playback controls sort of in here. So like this entire thing is everything dedicated to playing is in there. Yeah, I think that would actually work really well. So you have your playing mode, you have your edit mode, but they're basically in a split view. Yeah, I think that's the way we'll go with it. So, I think as we have hit 8 p.m, what I am going to do is I am going to have a quick look around, see if we can find someone to raid. Anyone doing any mobile development on Twitch at the moment? People doing NFTs, we do not care about those. Game stuff, game stuff. Not really. Okay, well, I guess we'll just call that a night then. So, thank you so much for coming. We've made some pretty good progress. Mostly got what we wanted to get done. And as I say, I'll probably off stream work around some of the data model stuff. See if we can get that moved over to using what Coppice has. And yeah, once we have that in, we can probably next week start thinking about exactly what we want our data model to look like and work through that. So that should be a lot of fun. So I hope you all have a good rest of your day or evening, whatever time it is where you are. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy coding.